The thing about it is, you're not going to get a $14 million contract. It's not going to happen for you. As long as you stick around in teaching, that ain't going to happen. All right? You're not going to get endorsements, and you're not going to be on commercials, and nobody's going to have the Super Bowl of teaching for you to play in. Not going to happen. You're not going to get a bobblehead. You're not going to get a big head. You're not going to get any of that. But what you are going to get is the opportunity every single day to pour into the life of a child. And then the next year, you're going to get that opportunity with more kids. And then the next year, you're going to get that opportunity with more kids. And you are going to be able to authentically touch more lives than most professional athletes ever will. And so even if nobody else will congratulate you for that, let me be the first to say congratulations for doing what it is that you're doing. I read this book a while back. It's called The Fred Factor. Has anybody ever heard of it? There was this man whose name was Fred. And everybody knew Fred, and he was great at his job, and they all absolutely loved him. He gave it 100% every single day. The people that he worked with and the people that he worked for could not wait to see him coming. During the holidays, they made sure that they bought him the best gifts because he was that good at what he did. Anybody want to take a stab at what his job was? He wasn't a teacher. So take a different stab. What do you think he did for a living? That's exactly what he did. Have you read the book?
No.
He was a mailman. You are absolutely right. He was a mailman. He took pieces of paper and put them in people's mailboxes. Sometimes he took boxes and put them on people's doorsteps. But he did it from a place of passion. So much so that everybody knew him by his first name. I don't know my mailman's name. I don't. But they knew him. And if they were going on vacation, they were like, hey, Fred, I'm going to be out of town. And he would say, I got you. And he would take their mail and put it in the backyard so that people wouldn't know that they weren't home. And every single thing he did, he gave a little bit extra and a little bit extra. And they ended up writing a book about the man. The Fred Factor. It's an excellent book. I encourage you to read it. Here's what I learned from reading that book and from discussions with friends. When somebody is passionate about something and when they are doing their job out of a place of joy, it convinces you that you can do the same thing. I remember reading that book and being like, man, I could deliver mail. I could be really great at this. I'd be like the best mail delivery person. I watch people do stuff that I have absolutely no skills in, right? Man, I could sing. I could sing at the Super Bowl. I could do that. No, I could not. But when somebody does something from a place of passion, then it inspires you to do the same. And even if it's not the exact same job, it inspires you to be that kind of person. That is the effect that you have on those students who walk into your classroom. If you teach from a place of passion, even if they are knuckleheads, they are paying attention to you. And they're watching you, and they're thinking, man, I really could do this, or I really could do that, or I really could do something. But if she can get in front of this classroom, and if she can teach like this, and I can tell that she or he loves this, then I can do something. And they may never tell you. You might never even know about it, but that's what's happening in their head. So, here's the deal. Either you are teaching from a place of passion, or you are teaching from a place of pressure. Now, I know that none of y'all have any pressure. You don't have any hard-headed kids. You all have a padding of $250,000, so you don't have any money problems. You don't know anybody who's sick, and all of your relationships are perfect, right? So you would never teach from a place of pressure. But somebody is doing their job from that place, because we live on planet Earth. And on planet Earth, there are problems and frustrations. But one thing I know is that if you love what you're doing, those outside factors have no bearing. As a matter of fact, when you walk into that thing that you love, everything else disappears. That I know. Now that's one reason I knew that teaching was not my calling. Because those things didn't disappear. They escalated when I walked into the classroom. But what I do now, I'm not concerned about anything else when I'm doing what I'm doing because I love it. Here's how you know that you're teaching from a place of passion. You have creative ideas, right? Your creativity starts stirring whenever you are thinking about what am I going to do next? What's going to happen in my classroom next week? Oh, I can do this, I can do that. Now you're on Pinterest and you're up all night looking at all these ideas of things you can implement in your classroom. But if you are teaching from a place of pressure, then you're just watching the clock. You're not worried about what you could do. You're going to do the bare minimum and you're going to leave. And that is that. If you are teaching from a place of passion, you have a positive attitude. Now this one is easy, right? Now, I understand that some days you don't feel awesome, right? Some days you just don't. But the way that you feel when you are giving of yourself to these kids surpasses the way that you feel because of what else is going on with you. Now, if you're teaching from a place of pressure, that pressure is going to push and push and push until you finally break. And that's how you know. If you're teaching from a place of passion, then you are a problem solver. So no matter what happens to you, you're going to find a way around it, or you're going to find a way to fix it. Well, man, we thought that we had to do this, but now we got to do this plus this. Okay, that's a lot, but let's figure it out. Let's figure out how we can do it. But if you are teaching from a place of pressure, then you are constantly complaining. Man, they already got us doing all this, and now they want us to do all this other stuff. These people making these rules ain't never been in the classroom. They don't know. You're right. They don't know. But this is your job, and this is what you signed up for, and if this is what you love, you will find a way. If you are teaching from a place of passion, then you are a person who can empower other people. You empower them. You convince them that they are capable of things that they did not think they were capable of before they made contact with you. But if you are teaching from a place of pressure, you tear people down. And I have seen this, and it is disgusting. I have been around teachers who looked kids in the eye and told them, you will never amount to anything. And I'm going, why are you here? Why are you here? You can't say that you love these kids. You don't love anybody that you would tell something like that to. You don't love this job because what you say to that kid affects whether or not they hear you doing your job. What do you think a kid is going to do when you tell them they're never going to be anybody? You think now they're going to go in your classroom and do everything you ask them to do? Absolutely not. But when you are teaching from a place of pressure, you say stuff like that. And if that is where you are, let me encourage you to go and find your passion, because this can't be it. I think about those teachers that I've had that contact with, and I've heard those things come out of their mouths, and then I think about those two little humans right there. And I think about how I would respond if a teacher said that to either one of my kids. And it is not good. Now, if you are a teacher who really, like, this is your passion, this is what you love, you absolutely love it, but it is hard, and it can be frustrating, and it is thankless, and you're just tired. I get it. I believe that in order for you to stay full so that you can continue to pour into these kids what they deserve and what you committed to do, you have to take care of yourself. Now, here's what I mean by that. I think that there are 4 basic pillars of health, all right? There are 4 facets of your health. The first one, and this is in no particular order, but physical health, right? Now, I am a personal trainer by trade. This is what I do. When I'm not up speaking, when I'm not writing, then I'm helping people get fit. I really believe in that. The reason why is because at the age of 32, I have buried about 18 people. Many of them should still be here. So I'm a firm believer that this is the body that you have, and this is the only one that you get. And if you want to be here to do what you love, then you better take care of it. Because if you take care of it, it in turn will take care of you. But if you don't, it can't take care of you. How do we do that? Now, here's what I want you to hear. I really want you to hear this. I'm not talking about being skinny. I'm not talking about like some arbitrary number, size. I'm talking about being a healthy person. Being a person who doesn't have to live in and out of the doctor's office. Being a person who doesn't have to take more pills than food. That's what I'm talking about. So if you are a person and you know what, I could really, really do a better job health-wise, I encourage you to do it. You can do it for free. It costs nothing to walk. And here's the deal. You don't have control over a whole lot of things in this world. I don't have control over a whole lot of things in this world. But I can tell you two things I can control. What I put in my mouth and how much I move my body. And that is just what that is. So, physical health. When you are a person who is physically healthy, it enables you to do everything else that much better. It really does. And I know this because I've been on both sides of it. That's how I know. Now, the second thing, spiritual health. I don't know what you believe, but I'm a Christian. I believe that I was created for a specific person by an incredible God. The Word of God says that God made us in His image. Am I right? So if God is incredible, then what am I? Thank you. I'm incredible. And I have no qualms about saying that. And so if God created me for a purpose, then I better go do it the best I can, because that is just only right. And so, in order for me to keep my spiritual health on point, I surround myself with people who I know believe what I believe, so we can encourage each other. Those are not the only people I spend time with, but I do have a circle of these people. And I learn about the God that I say that I believe in, so I can understand Him, so we can be in relationship. And that is the one thing, the center of everything that determines everything else about my life. If you believe in something, then I encourage you to grow that. To go and find out why it is that you believe, what you believe, and to use that. Because if God created us to be here for just a very small period of time, then I'm going to do all I can in that period of time. Your spiritual health is extremely important. And for me, it is a compass for everything else. Third, your intellectual health. Y'all are teachers. This is easy for you. You believe in intellect. It is your entire life. But it's important for you to find things outside of the one thing that you teach on a normal basis. Read, 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 read. I cannot stress that enough. Stuff that you think you're not interested in at all, go read it anyway. Because the more you know, the more people you can now connect with. And that's extremely important, because you are a leader. And that leadership grows as your intellect grows. If for no other reason, because now you can have a conversation that maybe you couldn't have before. Intellectual health is extremely important. It keeps you sharp. Your brain is a muscle. If you use it, it gets stronger. If you don't, it atrophies. And you don't want that, especially as a teacher. And finally, I'm glad that y'all said what you said about emotional intelligence, emotional health, mental health. Extremely important. Extremely important, especially in this job. Sometimes you have to step back, you have to evaluate how you are doing, and you have to figure out how to get to that level that's going to enable you to continue to do what you do at a high level and the absolute best that you can do it. And if you are nurturing those 4 pillars, those 4 facets, then your passion is just going to overflow. You're not going to have to conjure it up. It's just going to be in you, and it's just going to come out of you, because you are a well-rounded, healthy person. And kids can see that. They can smell it from a mile away, especially teenagers. They know. They know. Kids are brilliant. They have like this sense where they can see through people. It's really amazing. And they know where you're coming from and where your heart is. You are extremely vital to the success of our future, to the success of our nation. And you teach in Mississippi, where nobody expects anything good. Now, I grew up in Mississippi. I've only lived in Dallas for 2.5 years. I was born in California. I moved to Mississippi when I was 9 months old. I'm a Mississippi girl, and I can tell you, nobody expects anything good from us. I have been told that Mississippians are nobodies, that Mississippi is a cesspool. And I'm like, you ever heard of Oprah? Because she's pretty awesome, but, you know. But that is what people think. And you are right here every day with the power to help create people that people can look at, and it can change that. So I just want to encourage you to be those people who teach from a place of passion, because what you do is extremely important. And when you are doing something that you're passionate about, you can't help but to be a joyful person.